However, I don't think it's appropriate for somebody from a different entity to come to our chambers and to tell us what we should be doing. I don't think we do that in your house, and I wouldn't expect for you to come to do that in our house.
But I am in agreement that you don't come and tell us what's best for us when you don't know the true history, and that's a lot of what's going on here.
But when you come here and demand that we do everything you say, that's not right. Is there any physical person that there's two on Zoom? I know that. Ms. Tyndall, did you want to speak?
Kerry Tyndall, Executive Director of the Indian Town Chamber of Commerce. I've been here once before to ask about economic development. Yes, I will. Can you hear me now? Okay, thank you. I've been here before to ask about economic development and I was ignored. I'm going to ask again. I'm going to ask politely. I sent an email asking the people who would attend to discuss economic development without racing forward to hire somebody for $85,000 plus on costs. I was required to, I was admonished because it was about the Sunshine Law. I know that that is dismissed when it's appropriate and you feel you can get away with it. In this particular instance, it would be important for us to have this discussion because it's not about no growth and it's not about all growth, it's about smart growth. So the concept of getting together and having a discussion would be incredibly important. Please do not send somebody like Jim Karras to have a discussion with me and try and steal ideas that you're going to be using at the strategic planning on Saturday. I had a visit from Doug Caldwell, which was also very interesting. After I spoke to Mr. Howard, you contacted me. Now, this is a concept that needs to be addressed now, not before it's too late, now. So the concept of putting together, now I sent an email requesting a meeting and I was told I had to come to this meeting to request a meeting. That's government gone mad. So I'm going to send another email and I would very much appreciate having a response and a meeting set up. It's going to be an open forum. All the discussions can be had at the table. Before you decide on your strategic plan about what you're moving forward with, you need to do some strategic thinking. And that's obviously not what you're doing, which is unfortunate. The second thing I want to talk about is the person you've hired as a grant specialist. May I suggest to the council that it would be absolutely wonderful if that grant specialist become an education for the people who own businesses in this town. The American Rescue Plan is going to become George Stokas from the Martin County Administration Office. He's going to come to Martin County, to the Civic Centre, I should say, on the 6th of May and do a presentation with regards to grants that will be available. It'd be really, really nice if the opportunity then passed on from the person that you've hired to do some educational programs once we've got that information in place. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Does the council want to accept or talk about the request?
Madam Mayor, if I could, first I wanted to thank all of the public for sharing their concerns. That is what we're here for, is to hear their concerns. So I wanted to first say thank you. As it relates to inviting or having a conversation with Ms. Kendall, for me, I think that as a village, we with all due respect, because I like you, I also enjoyed the former executive director of the chamber. So I want us to start from that point. When we had our discussion, we talked about wonderful things that we can do here for the village, and I still believe that we can do those things. However, I don't think it's appropriate for somebody from a different entity to come to our chambers and to tell us what we should be doing. I don't think we do that in your house, and I wouldn't expect for you to come to do that in our house. As I have mentioned before, and it seems like I'm the only council member that will mention in public, there have been things that have transpired prior to you coming and being a executive director here, that still needs to be worked out. So as we are moving forward, this has been the best option that we have decided to go with, and I would hope that this council will still consider hiring that economic development person so that we can continue to serve this community in a great capacity. I don't mind working with the chamber, and as I have shared before, there are some things that did not go right. So I think it's until the board directors or whoever that is running the chamber can sit down and have a conversation, then I think we'll be able to move forward. But the other option is, and which I think that where we are now, is we continue to move forward. I think you guys can operate independently on what the Village of Indiantown is doing. Your job, in my understanding, and please help me if I'm off kilter, though, I think your job as the chamber is to promote businesses to come here. And so I think that if you guys would focus on that instead of what is happening in the village, then I think we will have a better relationship. And again, I want to reiterate for everybody who's watching, who's listening, all of the above, I think you are a fantastic person. I was excited when you came on board, but I think there are other issues that are underlining that you may not be aware of. And I think just to come to the village council to basically tell us what we should or should not be doing is, to me, an ultimate sign of disrespect. And we have been dealing with this level of disrespect for quite some time. And so I would encourage you to take this message back to your board of directors or your board, and maybe we can go from there. But I think as of now, especially with all of the things that we are seeing happening in the Village of Indiantown, that we continue to move and continue to press forward with our strategic plan, which we had established last year and the year before. So, Ms. Kendall, I thank you for coming. And again, you have a place in my heart. I think you are extraordinary, and hopefully in the future we'll be in a better situation to work together. But I think as of now, with all the stuff that is happening, I think it is important that we continue to move forward with our progress as a council. And I would hope that this council will continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. I see a council member's hand on.
Yes, Madam Mayor,
Vice
it
Mayor
is
Clark?
Vice Mayor Clark.
Oh, yes. I agree with some of the issues that Councilman Dowling spoke of. Ms. Kendall, you're a very nice person. And our relationship doesn't have to be involved, but I am in agreement that you don't come and tell us what's best for us when you don't know the true history. And that's a lot of what's going on here. I mean, we are professional people, so I'm not going to get on here and degrade anybody. But when you don't know what happened to you personally, then you can't speak from that issue. So we still can work together. So that has nothing to do with us moving forward as a village to hire what we need for ourselves.
Thank you. Is there any other council? Let me just speak. And I agree with my colleagues. I do think that further down the line, there can be a better relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. And let me just give you one example. And I know I spoke to Mr. Hafner, and if you want to do this offline also, and speaking conversations, no, after the fact. But one of the things that I emailed Mr. Hafner about was the chamber has, I've always, since day one, I've been open to everyone. Doesn't matter if they treat me wrong or whatever the case is. But the chamber, if the Village of Indiantown had one of their staff members talking so bad about the Chamber of Commerce on social media, what would happen? What would happen is they'd be fired, because that's not tolerated. That's why we have a social media policy. Unfortunately, that's not the case for the chamber. And today I actually had a business owner frustrated. he called me, or I called him, and we had a conversation, and that was his frustration. That, you know, the chamber is to represent, it's a professional entity, and they have to represent the chamber. And if one of your employees is out there bashing this whole council and bashing our staff, which our staff works for us, we direct them what to do. And having someone here from the chamber coming and telling us what to do when I don't tell you what to do. I really don't care what the Chamber of Commerce does. You know, the Chamber of Commerce can do their events, their breakfasts. I don't tell you what to do with your money or anything. But when you come here and demand that we do everything you say, that's not right. So I think further down the line, there can be a relationship, but right now, I think me personally, I want to wait for this staff member to come down and be able to get up to speed, and then after that, probably they can go over to the chamber and see what they can work with the chamber. But currently, I don't think I don't see any of my colleagues on the same, most of my colleagues on the same page. And if you would like to respond, you can go ahead and respond.
Thank you. I guess the scenario is that I keep hearing about the past, what's happened. The chamber is not a building, it's people. It's myself and it's Missy at this point in time. What I was asking was, could we work together, not in some period off in the future, work together on economic development? The chamber looks after the businesses. That's our job, to look after the businesses in the community. And your job, from what I understand, is to look after the people in this community. I know you're probably distracted by what's happening outside, but the concept is that this is a really important time that we do work together, not waiting for 6 months' time or a year's time. Now, as far as the board is concerned, I keep hearing things about what's happened in the past. Now, I had nothing to do with that. So the fact that you are potentially saying things about the chamber now is offensive to me. And I appreciate that you may not understand what's going on, but the scenario is I hear about what's happened. Well, if somebody could give me some ideas of what happened, potentially we could fix the problem. But without communicating with each other, nothing's going to change. So I appreciate that you have a lot on your plate right now, but the economic development of this town is incredibly important, and that's why I wanted to stand and talk about it. It's not about directing about what you should or shouldn't do, and I've extended my hand personally about all sorts of things. So the concept of saying that we're directing what you should do is inappropriate. That's not what's happened. All I'm asking you is that, can we work together for the benefit of this whole community? That's what it is. There's nothing else except that I have no secondary agenda. It really is a case of wanting to do the right thing and do my job, which I'm sure that's what you want to do as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any further? I know we have